Hi everyone, and welcome to the Fake Love and Flying Monkeys podcast. My name's Nova Gibson and I am your host. My area of expertise is in supporting victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse and other toxic relationships. I'm the principal counsellor at Brighter Outlook Narcissistic Abuse Counselling Service, and I'm also the author of Fake Love, Understanding and Healing from Narcissistic Abuse. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about everything from the initial pink cloud you find yourself on at the start through to the horrific discard and the powerful trauma bond that keeps you hooked. So take your imaginary seat on the roller coaster that is narcissistic abuse, and don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode of Fake Love and Flying Monkeys. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fake Love and Flying Monkeys. Oh my goodness, this is the last episode for 2024. I can't believe it. I started this podcast off this year and I am just blown away with its success. And I'm more so grateful that you guys are finding validation in my podcast and that it's helping you to realize that this abuse that is so hard to articulate to others, let alone understand yourself, was never your fault. So, in this very last episode of Fake Love and Flying Monkeys for 2024, I am going to give you 20 of my very special tips to take you into 2025. You could call them your New Year's resolutions, your goals, your ambitions, your mantra, whatever resonates with you. But I want these tips, strategies to help you to realize that 2025 is going to be so different for you from 2024. And that this year that is just about to end is going to be the very last year that anyone is able to dictate to you what your worth is. Now, I'm going to use the word I, but when I say that, I mean you, me, we, everyone. So the first goal for 2025, number one, is I am going to set my boundaries. When I set these boundaries, I'm going to realize that it's not going to feel comfortable to begin with. But you know what? I am not going to worry about what other people think, because what other people think of me is none of my business. And I am allowed to say no when I want to say no. And I don't have to send out a 10-page letter explaining why I said no. I'm going to practice my boundaries until they feel comfortable and they are just second nature, because my boundaries is not about or are not about anyone else. They are about my self-care. And if anyone makes me feel bad about having my boundaries, they're the very people that my boundaries are intended for, because they are about my self-care. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Number one goal for 2025. Now, some of these tips are going to be a little bit longer than the others, guys, but please just bear with me. So number two tip, taking us into 2025, is health permitting, I'm going to exercise every single day, or at least I'm going to aim for 5 days a week. Now, exercise may be just a brisk 20-minute walk around the block, but please do something, guys. Exercise gets those endorphins flowing. It makes you feel better. So even when you feel like you haven't got the energy to get out of bed, just start with 10, 20, 5 minutes a day, whatever you can do, but just make it a goal. Number three goal, I'm going to reach out for help, for support from the people I love and trust when I need it. And I am not going to feel guilty about it, because that's what people who love you do. And I know that I would be there for them when they need help. And I am not going to sit there and struggle on my own, because I don't want to put other people out, because the people who love me won't be put out. Number 4 goal. I am going to stop giving people a free rein to be rude and disrespectful to me, simply because that's who they are. And that's what they've always done. Because when we say, well, that's just who they are, we are giving that person a free rein to treat us like garbage. And if who they just are is a disrespectful asshole, then you are allowed to kick that disrespectful asshole to the curb and not accept their rude behavior simply because someone has told you, well, that's just who they are. Number 5 goal. I am going to practice trusting my instincts. My abuser conditioned me to believe that everything I think, do, or say is wrong. I know it's going to be uncomfortable to begin with, but I'm going to go with my instincts every time. And I'm going to process any irrational but normal feelings I have that I'm doing something wrong every time. I'm going to practice trusting my instincts until it feels normal, comfortable to make decisions. Number 6 goal. I'm going to, if I haven't already, start journaling. Even if I just start with 1 sentence a day, I'm going to empty my head and just get those thoughts on paper so I can come back to them later and not have to worry about them. And I can also start connecting the dots between what's happened in my past and what's happening now. Number 7 goal. I'm going to keep working on my self-forgiveness. I am tired of blaming myself for not being there for other people in my life at the times I wanted to be there, because I was being abused and I was in survival mode. I am going to forgive myself and give any shame or self-doubt away to my higher power, away to the universe. I am going to forgive myself for not leaving sooner, for not having the tools to leave because I just didn't know how, or it just wasn't the right time. Number 8 goal. I'm going to prioritize my self-care. I'm not going to feel one bit selfish about it, because I know that everything, including my relationships and my job, will benefit from me making my self-care number 1. Number 9 goal. If I haven't already, I'm going to find my passion in life. I am going to find that thing that makes me count down the sleeps till I'm able to do it, till I'm able to fulfill that one thing that brings me joy and peace. Number 10 goal. I am not going to feel guilty about not calling family members who are toxic. I am not going to feel obligated to make that once or twice a week phone call, or to receive their once or twice a week phone call. If I don't want to talk to those toxic family members because it makes me feel uncomfortable and it ruins my day, then I am going to call that a boundary, and whatever they think of me is, again, none of my business. Number 11 goal for 2025, I am going to stop explaining myself. If people don't like my decision, then they're telling me that they don't respect my boundaries. And I am not going to feel the need to explain every time I say no, because no is a complete sentence. Number 12 goal. I am going to book a holiday, whether it's in 6 months or 12 months. I am going to have that holiday to look forward to, and I'm going to mark the days off on the calendar until that dream holiday of mine arrives. Number 13 tip for 2025. I'm going to be more mindful of whom I share my intimate and personal stuff with. Now I know not everyone is trustworthy. I know that it's not paranoia, it's self-care. Not wearing my heart on my sleeve anymore is not about being insecure or paranoid. It's about boundaries and self-care. Number 14 goal to take you into 2025 is setting small, achievable goals for yourself. Now, an example of that might be, it's so easy to wake up in the morning and just out of habit, turn on your phone or turn on the TV to see what's going on in the world. Maybe you say to yourself, no, I'm going to jump out of bed and I'm going to commute with nature. And that might be just opening the front door and going outside, having a look at the blue sky, having a look at your trees and your flowers that may be growing in the front yard, and just getting that big, deep breath of fresh air before you turn on your phone. Make them achievable goals, baby steps, guys. Remember that every time you achieve a small goal, it's still a win. Small goals, small wins, but they're still a win. If you aim too big by making massive goals to begin with, big wins, big misses. Baby steps to begin with, but just start by making those goals for yourself that you know you're more likely to achieve. Number 15 tip, strategy, affirmation for 2025 is that I am going to say it as many times as I have to say it to believe that I am enough. I don't need anyone else's approval. I don't have to be in a relationship to be whole. I am enough on my own. I am worthy, and this world is a whole lot better place because I am a part of it. Guys, I so want you to believe that you are enough. Number 16 strategy for 2025 is something that I've been meaning to do for a while, and that is to declutter my home. Get rid of all the stuff I really don't need that really is just stuff. Clean out the garage, make a few trips to the dump and buy a few new paintings and a few new ornaments, and maybe give that wall or two a fresh coat of paint, and just make your house a home that brings you peace, joy, and harmony. Number 17 tip for the new year is that I am going to forget about any type of revenge with my abuser. I'm going to stop thinking about whether they will or they won't get their karma, because I know that just being them is karma in itself. But they will get their karma when their supply dries up and all they've got is that bitter, angry old true self that blames everyone else for what went wrong in their life. Whatever happens to them, whether they win the lotto or come down with some nasty sexually transmitted disease, I don't care, because I'm not going to know about it. I'm not going to give them that space inside my head. I am going to live my life with joy and passion, and any fleeting thoughts I have about them will just be to think how insignificant they are in my life at this point in time when I am free. Number 18 tip for 2025. I am going to give myself closure. Guys, if you have any residual thoughts, feelings, hopes that your abuser might one day be accountable for their actions, or at least give you some type of closure so that you can put an end to that part of your life and be able to move on, you're not going to get it. And the only person who can give yourself closure is you. And I want that to be one of the most important affirmations, goals for yourself for the new year. I want you to wrap your arms around your inner child and say, hey, I'm here for you. And you don't have to worry about being abused and treated badly ever again, because we're in this together. Guys, give yourself closure and give yourself permission to move on and be happy. Number 19 tip, strategy for the new year is that, you know what? Now that I'm feeling a little stronger, if that's where you are, I am going to start a blog, or maybe I'll write a book. Maybe I'll just start a support group, but I want to be able to use my experience to help others. If you're not ready to do this because of where you're at in your healing journey, guys, that's okay. But start to think about it. As I said earlier, journaling is so cathartic. And when you can do something like a blog where other people who have been through what you have been through can benefit from it, and you can support them as well as gain support from others, it can be an extremely healing experience. And last but certainly not least is number 20 strategy for 2025, which is I am going to stop being so fearful of my future. I know that with all the work that I am doing on my boundaries and the fact that I'm going to take it slowly, snail's pace, slowly, in any future relationship where I will get to see, hopefully, the red flags that may appear because of the fact that I am going to take it slowly, and any potential narcissist will hopefully reveal themselves before I give away of myself too much. I'm going to stop self-sabotaging any type of success and happiness, because that's what my abuser taught me to do. I am going to jump into 2025 knowing that I have the tools now, or I'm on my way to refining those tools, so that if another narcissist dares to cross my path, they won't have a snowball's chance in Hades of being able to destroy my newfound self-esteem or refound self-esteem and self-worth. And that brings us to the end of another Fake Love and Flying Monkeys episode, but also the very last one for 2024. I hope my podcast has been helping you guys. I certainly love the messages that I receive every day telling me that the little tips and bits of information and insights are valuable for you in validating your trauma and healing. There is a new year ahead, and that means a new you. Let's make it the best one ever, where it is completely or mostly free, if you can't go completely and utter no contact, but at least mostly free from any person who has been toxic in your life, because you are worth so much more. And on that note, I want to wish you all an incredibly happy New Year's Eve for the end of 2024 and to welcome in a fantastic 2025. Let's make it the best one ever. And certainly I'll be back in the new year with lots more of fake love and flying monkeys. So until the new year, which is only a day away, in Australia that is, I want you guys to be happy. And I want you to remember that you are worthy of love. And you are certainly worthy of a whole lot more than a lifetime of fake love and flying monkeys.